Geburtstag. Modell 2347.
Okay.
Jayarata Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayarata Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayarata Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Ram
Jaya Jaya Nityananda Jaya 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 Shri Advaita Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna. That happened if you chant Jai Radha Madhava instead of Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Anyway. So we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is Madhya Lila, entitled chapter 23, entitled Life's Ultimate Goal, Love of Godhead, and we have text 47, and I will read text 47 till 52. These are all symptoms of a devotee who had attained Prema Bhakti. That's where we are at the moment in this conversation between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami. So the different symptoms of Prema Bhakti are described. We just heard the 9 stages of Prema compared to the stages of sugar: Rati, Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava and Mahabhava. These were the 9 stages. And now it's described that as a taste increases, then Prema becomes more and more condensed. And we have heard about the 5 rasas, and now we hear about the different elements that actually produce rasa. And there is 5: Vibhava, Anubhava, Sattvika, Vyabhichari, and the Sthaibhava. They are all, we will try to explain and look at these different ingredients of rasa. Okay, let's start with text 47. Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milana
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname. Vaishnavis.
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Premadika Sthaibhava Samagri Milane
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupa Paya Pariname
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Rupe Pai Pariname Prema Adhika. Love of Godhead, beginning with Shanta, Dasya and so on. Sthai Bhava, the permanent ecstasies. Samagri Milane, by mixing with other ingredients. Krishna Bhakti, devotional service to Lord Krishna. Rasa Rupe, composed of transcendental mellows. Paya, becomes. Pariname, by transformation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When the permanent ecstasies, neutrality, servitorship and so on, are mixed with other ingredients, devotional service in love of Godhead is transformed and becomes composed of transcendental mellows. Translation. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2:1-4-5, the following definition is given. Let me see. Attasya Keshavaratre Lakshita Nikatya. Just anyway, I read directly the English translation. Love for Krishna Keshava, as previously described, reaches the supreme state of being composed of mellows when its ingredients are fulfilled. By means of Vaibhava, Anubhava, Sattvika and Vyabhichari, hearing and chanting are activated, and the devotee is able to taste love for Krishna. Then attachment for Krishna, or permanent ecstasy, Sthai Bhava, becomes the mellow of devotional service, Bhakti Rasa. Okay, I will read a few more shlokas because they're all kind of connected, and then we can try to explain everything. So text 48. Vibhava Anubhava Sattvika Vyabhichari Sthai Bhava Rasahaya Echari Mili. Permanent ecstasy becomes a more and more tasteful transcendental mellow through the mixture of special ecstasy, subordinate ecstasy, natural ecstasy, and transitory ecstasy. Everything clear?
So sometimes actually a Russian translation is not perfect.
Okay, yeah. So the Sthai Bhava, which is the permanent ecstasy or the original relationship we have with Krishna, when it becomes mixed with Vibhava, Anubhava, Sattvika and Vyabhichari Bhava, then it becomes tasteful. And we'll try to look at this. Then Dhadiyena Kanda Maricha Karpura Milane Rasa Laikya Rasa Hoya Apurvasvadane. Now an example is given. Yogurt mixed with sugar candy, black pepper and camphor is very palatable and tasty. I don't know. So you take yogurt, then you put sugar candy and then black pepper and camphor, mix it, and then it becomes a black pepper camphor yogurt. So anyway, that's the example given. Similarly, when permanent ecstasy mixed with other ecstatic symptoms, it becomes unprecedentedly tasty. So when we have the original ecstasy, it means the original relationship, either Dhasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, Rasa, you have this relationship with Krishna, and then you mix it with the other ingredients, like Anubhava and Sthai Bhava and all these different elements, then it becomes, then actually the rasa can be tasted. Then the rasa actually manifests. Because rasa at the end, Prabhupada used to say that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tried to translate the word rasa because it's a Sanskrit word you can't really find in English but then Bhaktisiddhanta used the word mellow. And mellow means as much as like taste, or you can also say like juice, like you have a nice pineapple juice with, I don't know, coconut or some mango, some kind of juice that you can taste. So similarly, rasa actually is something that you can taste. It's a mellow rasa, especially in relationship to Krishna. But in order to taste that rasa, then there needs to be different ingredients. And there is totally 5 ingredients, and this is what is described here. And in order to give an example here, it says if you mix yogurt with sugar and black pepper and camphor, it becomes tasty. So similarly, if you have this original relationship, then you mix with other ingredients, then the rasa can be tasted. Dvidha vibhava alambanda udipana vamshi sarvadi udipana krishna di alambana. There are 2 kinds of particular tastes, vibhava. One is called the support and the other is called the awakening. The vibration of Krishna's flute is an example of the awakening, and Lord Krishna himself is an example of the support. So now different elements are described, and as I said, we will try to look at them one by one. Text 51. The subordinate ecstasies are smiling, dancing and singing, as well as different manifestations in the body. The natural ecstasies, such as being stunned, are considered among the subordinate ecstasies. Anubhava. And then there is text 52. There are other ingredients, beginning with complete despondency and jubilation. Altogether there are 33 varieties, and when these combine, the mellows become very wonderful. Okay, so these are the 6 shlokas that describes these different symptoms, and we'll try to explain them one by one. Om Jnanatimidandasya Kinanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Sadguru Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so I will start with reading a commentary from The Waves of Devotion, which is a commentary written by Damodar Swami on the Nectar of Devotion. We have the original, I think His Holiness Bhakti Ananda Tirtha Maharaj spoke about this. Now we have the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is the original text by Srila Rupa Goswami. Then we have Srila Prabhupada's summary study, The Nectar of Devotion, which is a summary study. That means Prabhupada didn't give the shlokas, but just summarized the shlokas and explained things. And then we have the Waves of Devotion, which is a commentary on Prabhupada's summary study on the original text of Rupa Goswami. So there's 3 books. One is the original book, the next is a summary study, and then a commentary on the summary study. So if you read all 3 books, then you get some kind of picture. So we'll try to do that. Because basically what we find here in these shlokas of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and of course this is the original source, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching, and that is summarized by Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in chapter 20. Prabhupada has it in chapter 20 of his Nectar of Devotion. So, and the commentary goes like this. The southern division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes how a devotee relishes rasa, transcendental mellow. No, we just spoke about that word rasa, mellow. Rasa does not simply refer to our eternal relationship with Krishna. Like usually we say there is 5 rasas, right? Shanta, neutrality, then we have Dasya, the servitorship, and we have Sakhya, friendship, and Vatsalya, parentship, and Madhurya, which is then the intimate, conjugal relationship. So these are the 5 rasas, and we understand these 5 rasas as the 5 different relationships that we can have with Krishna. But here it says that actually the word rasa has actually a deeper meaning, because if you just say it's the relationship, that's basically just a general term, but actually rasa means something else. That's why rasa does not simply refer to our eternal relationship. Rather, rasa occurs when our affectionate relationship is intensified and stimulated to a relishable crescendo. So rasa is a taste that we can experience in a relationship, but only when it's kind of stimulated by other factors. There are 5 components of rasa, and that's what we have heard in these shlokas. There's 5 components. The eternal affection, and that's the rasa, or that's the relationship that we have, the eternal affection, like be it as in the Sakhya rasa, that I have an affection to Krishna as a friend, or have affection in an elderly, like in a Vatsalya rasa. So that's the eternal affection that I have. But then additionally there is 4 types of emotional experiences which intensify that affection. So there is the original mood, and there is 4 emotional experiences that intensify that affection. And that's the terms that we heard. This Vibhava, Anubhava, Sattvika, and Vyabhichari. These are the 4 emotional experiences which then stimulates and enhance that original relationship. And when all the 5 are there, the relationship plus these 4 emotions, then we speak of rasa. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I also have to, try to understand it. Each of the 5 waves in the Southern Division will discuss one component in detail, but in this chapter 20, Rupa Goswami gives like a summary study. So we just will go through the summary. And there is the Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvika Bhava, and the Vyabhichari Bhava. And then last is the Sthai Bhava explained, but I will start with the Sthai Bhava because that's the one that we know already. From these 5 elements, the Sthai Bhava, which means that eternal relationship, that's usually what we already know. So we start with that. That's the basis of everything. Yeah? Okay, let me see. So yes, we have these different relationships that we can have with Krishna, and we know there is Shanta Rasa, which is neutrality, and usually it's it's described like personalities like the 4 Kumaras who were like Brahmavadis. They were neutral in the beginning. And in general, yogis that meditate about the Virat Rupa or meditate about the Brahman or Paramatma, that's like Shanta Rasa. Of course, somehow in Vrindavan actually we don't have really Shanta Rasa, because in Vrindavan everyone is in Dasya. They're all in the mood of service. And Dasya Rasa also, there's different forms of Dasya Rasa. We have, for example, in Dwaraka we have servants like Daruka, who is fanning the Lord with a chamara, and he feels so much ecstasy that he condemns his ecstasy because he's not able to do this service properly. Like tears flowing from his eyes, and he starts to tremble, and then, what is this ecstasy? I have to do my service here. I don't know, that's quite an elevated platform if you have this kind of difficulties. but that's an example of a servant. And of course we have other servants in Dwarka, like Sudamba, who always brings the betel nuts, and Mandana, who brings an umbrella. He always holds an umbrella over Krishna when Krishna goes somewhere. So these are all servants of Krishna. Then also the Pradyumna and all the sons of Krishna in Dwaraka, they're also in that mood of Dasya, in the sense of, this is my father, you know. I respect my father, I serve my father. Of course, they're already much more intimate, but still they have this respect. And there is other servants, like some of the Kurus, in Hastinapur, like Vidura, and also servants even in Vrindavan, like Rasala and Raktaka, who are giving menial service to Krishna. But then we have the Sakhya Rasa, or the friends, and there we also have different kind of friends. We have, the well-wishing friends who are in a mood of protection. You know, they are, although they are friends, but still they feel like in some way stronger, and they want to protect Krishna in a friendly way. Mandali Bhadra is one of them, and Balabhadra also. Then there are simple friends, and there is the more intimate friends, like Sudam, Stoka Krishna, Madhumangal, and there is the very close friends, like Subala. And these friends, they are specifically assist the Lord in his lila with the gopis. So they are amongst the friends, the Sakyas, those who assist Krishna in meeting with Radharani. They are the most intimate friends. And there is a nice little story. Let's see, I can try to narrate that little story to get some idea of this kind of friends, which are known as the very intimate friends of Krishna. So one day Srimati Radharani made a very nice flower garland for Krishna, and she gave that garland to Vrinda Devi. And Vrinda Devi thought, okay, I'll give it to Subal Sakha, because he's a Priya Narma Sakha. Priya Narma Sakha means a very, very dear friend of Krishna. So Vrinda gave the garland to Subal, and then Subal went to Radhakund, because it was noon time. Krishna was sitting at Radhakund as meditation, and Subal brought the garland. And when Subal came, Krishna said, "Oh, I was just sitting here and thinking about Radharani, and you brought this garland. My mind is very agitated. I want to see Radharani now. Please bring Radharani to me." And Subal said, "Krishna, it's in the middle of the day. It is not a good time. You always meet Radharani in the night. You cannot meet her now. It's not possible." And Krishna said, "But you don't understand. My mind is very restless and very agitated. I need to see Radharani now. Otherwise, I will jump into the Yamuna and drown myself. I give up my life. I need to see Radharani now." So, okay. So I will have to do something. So Subal, that's the mentality of these friends. They want to give pleasure to Krishna. So they always understand Krishna's mentality, and they know, I need to give pleasure to Krishna. So then Subal is very expert in all these activities, and that's why he went immediately to Yavat, where Radharani's father-in-law's house is, and Radharani was staying there with Jatila, the mother-in-law. And Jatila was just finishing her lunch, and she was sitting outside the doorstep, facing the window to Radharani's room. So, how can I go there? It's very difficult. So then, and she already saw, this boy is coming. He's a friend of this rascal Krishna. What is he doing here? And then Subal, with great humility, said, "Oh mother, I am missing one of my calves. One of my calves ran away, and I think I saw it running inside here, the courtyard. Can you check and see whether there is an extra calf which does not belong to you?" And she said, "I just finished my lunch. I cannot move. You go and check yourself." So this way he could sneak in. He went in, and then he immediately went to Radharani. And then he, reported to Radharani, "Krishna wants to see you. You have to You immediately go to Radhakund. The Radharani, how to do? And then it's described, no, Tesham Sattva Yuktanam Bhajatam Vritti Purvagam, those who serve Krishna. Then the Dadi Buddhim Yogam Tam Yena Mamupayanti, that Krishna gives intelligence to those who serve him. So Subal had an idea. Let's change the clothing. Because they look a little similar. So then they changed clothing, and Subal dressed like Radharani, and Radharani dressed like Subal. And then and Subal told her, you just take pick off the youngest calf and put it on before your breast, and then you just walk out and you imitate myself. So then she did. She dressed up as Subal. She took a calf and just went out. And when Chatila saw her, he was like imitated. Yeah, I found my calf, and okay, now go out, get out. So then he left. She left, and then in this way she was able to see Radharani. Of course, Subal was now in trouble because how does he get out? But then it was time that the gopis actually, after midday, they usually worship Surya. So then he kind of also sneaked out, and then he also went. And in this way, these intimate friends of Krishna, they always, these Priya Narma Sakas, they always assist in the confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And those are the most intimate friends. And then we have, of course, Vatsalya Rasa. This is, of course, Yashoda, Nanda, Rohini, and actually all the elderly gopis, especially when Lord Brahma stole all the calves and all the gopas, and Krishna manifested himself in many different expansions, and for a whole year all the elderly gopas, they felt so much affection for their children because the children actually were Krishna himself. So this way they also could fully manifest the Vatsalya Rasa. And of course also Devaki, Vasudeva, the 15 wives of Vasudev's, Kunti, Sandipani Muni, they all have this Vatsalya Rasa, this relationship as elderly that they take care of Krishna. Then we have Madhurya Rasa, the conjugal relationship, and we have the queens of Dwarka, and of course then the gopis, headed by Srimati Radharani and all the other gopis that also in that particular rasa with Krishna. So these are the permanent ecstasies or the permanent relationship that a living entity has, one of these, eternal mood. And that's also called Sthai Bhava. That's like the permanent mood. So now, but in order that this relationship actually can be fully manifested or relished, then the 4 other elements need to be there. Like these 4 emotional experiences need to be added so that relationship with Krishna can fully manifest. And these are the 4 emotional experiences, and the first of them is described here as Vibhava. And what is the Vibhava? The Vibhava, I'll just read here. The first wave described the first component of Rasa Vibhava. Vibhava is that which stimulates our eternal affection for Krishna, heightening into the point of relishable intensity. We can grasp the basic concept of Vibhava by taking help from a simple example. A mother has constant affection for her child, but sometimes her affection remains in the background of her thoughts. If she is not to relish it, the affection maybe require some stimulus. If she were not to see her child's beautiful face, her motherly affection could suddenly be heightened to a relishable crescendo. Her child's face corresponds to Vibhava because it stimulates her basic motherly affection to the point of relishable intensity. Okay. Yeah, makes sense, no? Like every mother loves the child so much. Yeah. We have, how many mothers we have here? Who is a mother? Yes, we have one mother here.
Yes.
Huh? Two mothers, yes. 3 mothers.
Ja, babuška, grandma.
3 mothers, grandmother. So mothers will know what it means. No, they have so much love for the children. But sometimes that love is maybe in the background because they are busy with something else. You know, you have to do the bookkeeping or I don't know, do some household work or some business. You maybe not always think of your beloved child, but then if you get a vibhava, like some stimulation, then that love comes out. You see, that's why people keep pictures of their children, at the home, and then they look at the picture. Oh, my beautiful daughter, my son, and then that picture stimulates. So nice, like that. That's the vibhava. So the same is also. So the same is also in relationship to Krishna. There is sometimes, there's many different aspects that can stimulate our remembrance, our love for Krishna. And one example we find in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the story of Mukunda Das. There is Sri Kandavasi Mukunda Das, and we know him is described in relation to his son Raghunandana. It's described that once, in fun, Mahaprabhu once asked Mukunda Das, "You are the father and Raghunandan is your son, or is Raghunandan your father and you are his son? Please tell me definitely who is father and who is son." It's kind of it's obviously one is the father, one is the son, one is an elderly man and one is a younger boy, so it's obviously who is the father. But Mahaprabhu in fun asked, so who actually is the father, who is the son? And what did he say? Mukunda Das, very dear devotee of Krishna, because he was actually Brinda Devi in Krishna Lila. So when Brinda Devi comes to Gaur Lila, she becomes Mukunda. So he has such Krishna prema. He is also very humble and respectful. So he said, Mukunda kahe Raghunanda mora pitta hoya amitara putra ei amara nishchaya amasabara Krishna bhakti Raghunanda hoite atta eva pitta Raghunanda amara nishete. Mukunda said, "O Mahaprabhu, I tell you definitely, Raghunandan is my father and I'm his son." Why is that? We have all developed Krishna Bhakti because of Raghunandan. He is such a great dear devotee of Krishna. Therefore, Raghunandan is definitely my father. So, because actually, the son was first a devotee, or was a greater devotee, the father considered his own son his father. Because by his devotion, he felt spiritually inspired. And that's why my son is actually my father, in a transcendental way. So, Mahaprabhu was very, very pleased. Yes, Yana heute Krishna Bhakti sei Guru hoya. He who gives Krishna Bhakti is Guru. He is the true father. He's the true leader. That person that gives Krishna Bhakti, he is actually greater. So that Kandavasi Mukunda Das was a great physician, a doctor, Ayurvedic physician, in the court of the Bhadasaha, the Muslim ruler. But he only did this externally as his job. Inside his heart he was always filled and fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. But he had this job, he went and... So once Mukunda Das was sitting on a chair before the Bhadasaha, before that Muslim ruler, and was giving some prescription for medicine. Okay, maybe he measured his pulse and okay, you should take this powder and you should take this, like a doctor does. At that time, a servant of the Muslim ruler came with an umbrella made of peacock feathers and held it over the head of the Muslim ruler. As soon as Mukunda saw the peacock feather, he became ecstatic because of the peacock feathers reminded him of Krishna. Only Krishna wears peacock feather. No one else can put on the top. As soon as Mukunda Das saw it, he became so ecstatic that he fainted and fell from the chair on the ground. Like, wow. He just fell unconscious. And then, what happened to the physician? What happened to the doctor? The doctor fainted. Usually the patient faints and the doctor takes care, but here it was the other way around. So he might have met his death. The Muslim rule became very concerned. They sprinkled some water on him and they fed some fresh air. And then slowly, what happened to you? And slowly the Mukunda came back to consciousness. And he said, oh, my dear Badasha, I'm not seriously hurt, everything is fine. My Lord, I have a disease, Mrigi Vyadi. Sometimes my head reels, I have some epilepsy, so then I actually lose my consciousness. Nothing serious. And then he went and he left. So that's very interesting also. He kept his ecstasy hidden. I mean, he tried. He couldn't really kept his ecstasy. He fully manifested them, but he kind of tried to,
But the reason he didn't.
Yeah, he tried to cover it up. He didn't want to explain why. He didn't want to say, yeah, because I was reminded of Allah, of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord. That's why I fainted. No, he didn't say it like that. He was very humble and meek. Because if you would explain why, then people would say, oh, you're such a great devotee, you're such a great person, and everyone would give you honor and respect. But he was very humble, and he didn't want it to be respected and glorified by others. So why I'm telling this story? Why I tell the story?
Vibhava.
Yes, Vibhava.
It's Vibhava and Udipana same.
This comes after.
After, okay.
Let me see. Yeah. Yes. So that's Vibhava. That's something that stimulates the basic, love which is already there. It will be stimulated by that. Okay. Just check. That's a good question. Yes, here we have, it's a good point. It is the same. So, because there is Vibhava, and there is two aspects of it. And that we have heard this before, let me see. Yeah, that was described in text 50. Dvivida vibhava alamba udipana vamsi sarvadi udipana krishnadi alambana. There are two kinds of particular ecstasies, vibhava. So vibhava is divided into two. One is called the support and the other is called the awakening. The vibration of Krishna's flute is an example of awakening, and Lord Krishna himself is an example of the support. So basically, when we speak of Vibhava, then there's two aspects. One is Alambana and one is Udipana. And Alambana is Krishna himself, and Udipana is that which is impelling or causing. So in that sense, yes, you're right, that Vibhava is the same, like Udipana is the same as Vibhava. Vibhava is just the general term, and then the specific term for that which is awakening, that stimulates, that is actually the Udipana. Yeah. Okay, so that was the first one, the cause of ecstasy, which brings out that time is progressing. So then we have another one is Anubhava. Anubhava is an action that results from heightened affection for Krishna, which serves to further enhance that affection. So we can return to the same example. When a mother's affection is stimulated, loving emotions swell up in her heart and must be expressed. So that's the difference. The Udipana or the Vibhava is just awakening that love, which was already there, but it's awakened, stimulated. And as next, there needs to be some action. You want to express, and that's called Anubhava. We can return to the same example. When a mother's affection is stimulated, loving emotions swell up in the heart and must be expressed. Perhaps she will embrace her child. This embracing is Anubhava. The desire to embrace her child results from the heightened affection that she feels and serves to further enhance her motherly affection. Anu means to follow. We know that word Anu, like, and in chronological or ontological sense, Anubhava is the external action that follows from the heightened affection. So Prabhupada translates Anubhava as subsequent ecstasy. We had this text here. Permanent ecstasy becomes more and more tasteful, transcendental, mellow, to the mixture of special ecstasy. Special ecstasy is the vibhav, that something that stimulates it, and then comes the next one, the subsequent ecstasy, that which follows. Love is stimulated, and then I want to embrace or kiss, because that's the action that follows. I think that's clear. Then the next one is Sattvika Bhava. And Sattvika Bhava is an involuntary reaction that results from heightened affection for Krishna, which serves to further enhance the affection. So both Anubhava and Sattvika Bhava, they expressions of that love, but Anubhava is voluntarily. I see the picture of my child or the face of my child, and that love comes up. Oh, I want to embrace. Not that I decide. I want to express my love. Anubhava. But Sattvika Bhava, it means like I just start to tremble, and and tears coming out of my eyes, which is not controlled. It's uncontrolled. It's not that you desire, but it just comes out. That's the difference. And of course, we have learned about the Sattvika Bhava also in the Nectar of Devotion. It's described that they have many different aspects, such as trembling of the body, standing, the hair stand on end, tears coming out of the eyes, and there's also the color of the skin, the body can change, and all these kind of symptoms. Now, Rupa Goswami then also describes other symptoms of bhava which are more reliable, because these ecstasies, if we see them in somebody, they can also be imitated. Someone can imitate them. That's what is sahajya, if someone just imitates some ecstasy. Like Prabhupada says, during Kirtan someone is rolling on the ground with tears, and then going out in front of the temple smoking a pingi. And what is this? First you show the highest symptoms of love of God, and then you still have to smoke. That's not how it works. There is one example. I mean, it's a bit different, but it's also. There was one sadhu giving a Krishna Katha, and there was a big crowd. Many people were listening to that lecture, and one person was crying all the time, looking to the sadhu and crying, tears coming from his eyes. And the people were saying, wow, it's really, really advanced. He's experiencing so much ecstasy by listening his Krishna Katha. And later on, some people ask, oh, you really like the Katha, No, but when I look at the sadhu, the beard of the sadhu reminded me of my goat who died yesterday. My dear goat died. Seeing that beard really reminds me of my goat. So, if someone has tears, there can be many reasons why someone cries, in Hollywood or Bollywood, they can, a good actor can just, start to cry and make a show. But then there is the more reliable symptoms of bhava, ecstasy, which are aspects such like a devotee never wants to waste any time, always engaged in service, becomes very tolerant, becomes completely detached, very much attached to the holy name, to the holy Dham. All these are more reliable symptoms. And of course, we have seen in many in great devotees, sometimes these ecstasies, they come true. Like in Srila Prabhupada, there's several situations where Prabhupada was singing Jai Radha Madhava, and at some point, just like, and then stop, and Prabhupada had to get up and just walk out, because the ecstasy was so strong, and Prabhupada didn't want to, manifest, so Prabhupada just went, just left. There was no class on that day, because just singing Jai Radha Madhava, there was so much ecstasy coming out. Radha Madhava, this song describes the whole spiritual world, and if you're too much absorbed in the description of Krishna and the spiritual world, then you can become very ecstatic. Especially if you are a pure devotee. And there is also, in regards to Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, some of you may have heard the story that Gaur Govinda Maharaj, I think it was 79 after Prabhupada already had left, and Gaur Govinda Maharaj was just a very young sannyasi. He had received sannyas from Prabhupada like 2 years before, and there was a festival in Mayapur, and there was a kirtan, and during the kirtan Maharaj just collapsed, and was unconscious, so they brought him into his room. And for totally 4 months, I think about 2 months in Mayapur, 3 months, and then they brought him to Bhubaneswar. It took him another month to recover. Like for 4 months he was basically out of consciousness, not just, coming sometime, going back, coming, but was in a completely state of ecstasy. And people didn't know what happened to him. They brought a doctor, and the doctor, no, he's completely healthy, everything is good, I don't know what's the problem. They brought some exorcists, maybe they thought maybe he's possessed by a ghost. And finally, the Krishna Das Babaji, who as a godbrother of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada would have commented that he actually is a pure devotee. He was very, very exalted, he was always chanting, he was very much absorbed in the holy name. And Prabhupada had great respect to him. So he was there, he was called, and he went and he just checked the symptoms, and he was laughing. He's just showing the symptoms of bhava, ecstasy. These are just ecstatic symptoms. And so that it's rare, but it's manifested, sometimes in different ways. So these are the sattvika bhava. It's involuntary. It's not that you want this, but it just overcomes you. And that's another ingredient that can is important to have, that rasa can be fully relished. And then we end with the last one, is the vyabhichari bhava. And vyabhichari bhava is an emotional experience that results from intensified affection for Krishna, which serves to embellish and further stimulate that affection. And an example which is given is, for example, when here is described a transcendental example. Let me see. We can return to the same example. Seeing her baby crawling on the edge of a cliff, a mother's affection intensifies drastically, embellished by the flavor of extreme anxiety. This intense emotional experience corresponds to the vyabhichari bhava. And then the transcendental example can be given when Mother Yashoda saw Krishna wrapped in Kaliya's coils. Her love for him intensified dramatically, causing acute motherly distress. This distress is vyabhichari bhava that further stimulated her motherly nature to feel anxiety for her son.
Did she faint?
She fainted, yeah. Yeah, so of course we could now go through the whole Kaliya Lila, which would be very nice. But, and I also had some, but the time is up. But we know, in principle, we know the story the Gopas and with the cows, the calves, they came to the river Yamuna and they were drinking some water, and then the Gopas, they just fell on the ground, appearing like death, and then Krishna glanced over them by his mystical power, brought them back to life. But they could understand the water was poisoned. Sukadev describes it when birds would fly over the Yamuna river, they would they would drop down dead, because just the air how you say, the steam or the air that comes from the river was so poisonous that the birds, they just died. Everyone who basically came in touch with the water or came close to the Yamuna had to die. So that's why Krishna, he jumped on the Kadamba tree, and then he got ready to jump into the water to teach Kali a lesson. It's described how he was and then jumping into the water of the Yamuna. And first of all, Krishna was captured by Kalya, and then that was the great, and that this is what described here. But all the Brijbasis, they saw bad omens, and they ran towards the Yamuna. And then as described here, when Mother Yashoda saw her son there in the coils of Kalya, she became so in anxiety. And we can question, so why does Krishna perform these pastimes? Like his mother, his friends, they all are so much in anxiety, and they experience so much suffering, right? But that's the point. This anxiety that Mother Yashoda experienced, it's a Vyabhichari Bhava. It's kind of enhances her, it intensifies her love. Because it's like, wow, my child is about to die. This cannot be happen. I love him so much, and that love comes out so much through that. And this is part of the Leela, which enhances the Leela. And of course we know that Krishna relieved himself and then started to dance on the hoods of Kalya in such a beautiful way that all the gopis fall in love with him. They already were attracted before, but it says that latest after this dance, all the gopis, they were completely in love with Krishna, because that dance was so beautiful. Okay, so these are some descriptions. So I will just summarize and then we end. In these shlokas of this Chaitanya Charitamrita, basically this shlokas describe the symptoms of a devotee who had attained Prema Bhakti, and this text 74 to 52 describes these different ingredients. When one's Prema is mixed with other ingredients, one's Krishna Bhakti is transformed and becomes composed of rasa. And as we got this example, just when yogurt is mixed with sugar, candy, black pepper and camphor, it becomes very tasty. So similarly, when the original sthai bhava is mixed with other ecstatic symptoms, it becomes more tasteful. And these were these emotional experiences. This was vibhav, which is the cause that stimulates, or that udipana, that stimulates love, which is already there. Then anubhava, which is an expression of that love. Then sattvika bhava, which is another expression, but which just happens without control. And then vyabhichari is a special emotion that arises in very special circumstances that even increases it further. So if you have the original relationship to Krishna, and then you add this vibhav, anubhav, sattvika and vyabhichari bhav, then what comes out is rasa. That's what we call actually rasa. The combination of the five is rasa, and then that mellow, that relationship to Krishna can be fully tasted. So that's the science of bhakti. It's a very elevated subject matter, which is way beyond my head, of course, at least. I don't know about you, but it's a very elevated topic, but very beautifully described, and we are very fortunate that we have such detailed description of what it means to actually love God. Because, as Prabhupada often pointed out, the test of every religion is how much is that religion able to awake love in your heart. And the process of bhakti is so beautiful because it has all the methods and ingredients to awaken that original love in the heart of a practitioner. And not only that, it gives a very detailed description of how this love will manifest and what are the different symptoms of that love. So it's truly the science of loving God. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Why is Mahabhav not mentioned here?
Mahabhav was mentioned before. That's kind of like a different topic in a way. Before we heard text 42 to 43 describes the 9 stages of prema, which are compared to stages of sugar, right? So there is prema, sneha, mana, pranaya, raga, anuraga, bhava, and mahabhava. That's like the intensity of prema. And what we heard today is more like the ingredients for rasa, the ingredients that are required to have that rasa, the taste of the relationship. And then we have the description of the intensity of that love, and that's the 9 stages. And Mahabhava is the highest stage of that love. Okay, yes, first. Yeah.
Are these 4 kinds of axes that we add coming together, and then it is like Mahabhava, and when they're like separate, then it's something else, or? No,
they are. These 5 ingredients are there, and sometimes only one of them is manifested. Sometimes more of them are manifested. But that's just a dynamic on how rasa is tasted. And then the intensity of prema is just the levels of love that one is developing. And according to one's also nature, and not everyone is experiencing Mahabhava. Mahabhava, Srimati Radharani is the personification of that Mahabhava, but not everyone will attain that platform of prema.
Somebody, for example, comes in the temple and begins to roll the ground and cry and so like this, and then maybe most probably the people will think, oh, this person is maybe crazy, or maybe if not crazy,
most probably he is.
He's playing a role of elevated devotee. But how one can, I mean not me, but how one can see when it is a real.
How can one see that one is showing real ecstatic symptoms, or one is just pretending? That's why Srila Rupa Goswami gives the more reliable symptoms of bhava. We can find them in the 18th chapter of the Nectar of Devotion, I believe. That we find the more reliable symptoms. And these reliable symptoms are detachment. They are described there. Let's see. They are described here. One will always utilize one time in a service of. Prabhupada says one wants to have service constantly, 24 hours. One is always engaged in service. One is very tolerant and patient. One is able to tolerate any disturbance, very tolerant. One is completely detached. There's no attachment to anything in the world. One is completely humble, pridelessness. one Ashabandha, one always hopes against hope that one can achieve the highest, that Krishna will shower mercy. Then one is very eager to achieve the pure love of loving service, and one is very attached to chanting, to glorifying, and to living a holy Dharma. These are the true symptoms of bhava. So if someone rolls on the ground and afterwards he shows other, behaviors, we can no, it's not. But if someone actually is spiritually so elevated and then rolls on the ground, then it's something different. Yeah.
This example with Govinda Maharaj shows that it's almost impossible for others to see what is going on.
Right. Only a Prema Bhakti himself could actually understand.
There are not so many.
It's not. We don't have so many Krishna Das Babajis around. We can ask. Yeah. Alright, then we will end here. Thank you very much. Grantaraj, Srimad Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Ramcha Kalpatra,
Are you going to give some new seminars in education? Like here or somewhere? Like this one,
Yeah, I will have to speak to them for the CS. I think I'd like to do something again.
Because I would like to take it. I would like to take it.
Okay, yes, I have to still do my planning.
Okay.
And also this Chaitanya Charitamrita compact, I wanted to.
Okay.
Nice.
I will go to that. I try to do it on creation.
Oh, okay.
But I extend it. But I would like to see how we go to it.
Weinig devotion. Das ist super.
Ja, da habe ich jetzt gedacht, das erklärt das Ganze noch besser.
Okay. Very sneaky. So, sorry, I scared you also. I want to. Yes, exploration. So I was thinking that it's all great, and then you can prepare plain paper or something, and I was doing some pencils, and then when you do this meditation, and then I'll put some music for about 5 to 10 minutes. Some things that we share.
Yeah, they can think more later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I think it's very so we can look at that. Like after they can take it together, they can just meditate in that. But also we can do something there.
Yes.
I changed my phone and I don't know how to put back these lights.
It's go to the App Store, install it.
Yes, I installed it.
Okay,
But
then
then
you
I
need to
don't
press
know.
it.
I don't know how to.
You'll continue until you don't know further, and then I need to press the button here.
Do I have to create?
No. Are you in the Wi-Fi? First, you need to join the Wi-Fi also. The residency unit password. So that's complicated. Because this thing is also connected to the internet, and then only if you're also on the internet you can see each other.
Okay.
No. Yes. Show you what to press.
Oh, nein, weißt du?
How to control the colors.
Okay, and then let's keep that.
Yes, exactly. Otherwise all the changes will be done. Exactly.
Thank you.
Part of smartphone. Smart temple.
I like these lights, so thank you. Mark and say.
he had more light stripes actually also. Like this, those stripes,
Yeah.
he would also have.
Oh, cool.
But I don't find any good place where to put them. Or Goku put a photo on top so that he can make some like lightning.
Yeah.
But it didn't convince me to keep them there for anything.
Oh, let's see.
Do you have any idea where to put them?
Yes.
Let
Okay.
me know.
Okay. Thanks.
Changing.
Prasad.